Just keep scandalous. Your whole life has been.
Give her the max. I'm writing my impact statement here to give her the max.
Alicia Andrews was accused of helping Foolio's rivals track him down, and she ended up facing a courtroom before any of the actual shooters did. When her trial kicked off, she walked in smiling, doing her makeup like it was nothing. But nobody in that room expected the case to twist the way it did. The prosecutors opened by laying out the whole setup behind the attack on Foolio. They explained how the crew followed him around on his birthday and pulled together an ambush using rifles and a modified Glock, making it clear the situation was stacked against Foolio from the jump.
Look at that gunfire, filling the dark, early morning hours with booming concussion and bright, flashing muzzle flashes as these high-pressured and high-powered rounds flooded the atmosphere in front of that Dodge Charger.
Alicia wasn't the one firing shots, but she still got charged with murder because the state claims she played a major role in putting everything in motion. One of the wildest details was that Alicia Andrews was pregnant during all this, and she ended up having her baby while locked up. Alicia and her boyfriend, Isaiah Chance, were allegedly trailing Foolio around Tampa and updating the shooters, letting them know every move he made. Alicia and Isaiah were the pair who spotted Foolio sitting outside a hotel in his car, and moments later, the shooters pulled up and opened fire. Witnesses say the spray was intense, and when investigators released photos of the car afterward, it was obvious Foolio never had a real shot at escaping once the ambush started. Foolio had been sitting in the passenger seat relaxing, but once the shots erupted, he tried moving into the back seat to shield himself. He still ended up hit by multiple rounds that proved fatal, and investigators reported he tried to pull himself away before collapsing from his injuries. Even though the attack was messy, cops say the group had been planning it for a while. Alicia even helped secure an Airbnb in Tampa, which prosecutors claim played into the setup. One of the alleged shooters, Sean Gathright, got tied into the case after investigators found home security footage showing him and Isaiah loading big duffel bags into their cars before heading out to Tampa to kill Foolio, according to the prosecution's statement. All of them got caught on cameras, license plate readers, and cell tower pings tracing their whole route from Jacksonville to Tampa. And Alicia was even spotted pulling up to a McDonald's in Tampa just hours before Foolio was killed.
Go retaliate or something. They're sitting up here rapping, but that's y'all homeboy. Just do what y'all gotta do.
When her trial started, Alicia's lawyer tried to flip the script and claimed she had no clue who the other shooters were. According to the defense, Alicia was supposedly just on a casual weekend getaway with her boyfriend, Isaiah Chance, and had no idea the crew was in Tampa to hunt Foolio. From the start, the courtroom could tell the story wasn't adding up, but nobody expected how intense the trial was about to get or how hard the prosecutors were about to go at her.
Girl, I don't like Foolio. Ugly ass. He need to die.
The first witness was a woman who had been at the hotel when Foolio was killed. She was chilling with Julio's circle that night, but she stepped inside to use the bathroom, and that was the only reason she didn't get caught in the shooting. What made her involvement even wilder was her history. She used to date one of Young and Ace's brothers, T. Trayvon. Years back, T. Trayvon was killed in front of Ace, and later on, the witness ended up hanging with Julio's side instead. Then one of Alicia's closest friends took the stand, and that's when things started spiraling for Alicia. Prosecutors pulled out old texts from 2021, where Alicia was telling her friend that 1200 and AK needed to be spinning out there. The shooters were putting in real effort trying to catch Foolio off guard, but the wildest part was how sloppy they were during the whole crash out. One shooter tried to run from police and ended up getting stopped immediately. And when officers checked through the phones, they found something shocking. One of the shooters had been texting his friends photos of the burner phone he bought specifically for the hit. They even kept pics of the guns they used in the attack on Julio, and they didn't bother deleting anything. After the shooting, prosecutors wanted to make it crystal clear that this wasn't some random situation. They wanted to prove it was fully planned out, so they brought in a gang detective who laid out the entire conflict between Foolio, 6 Block, ATK, and 1200 right there in court. Alicia Andrews wasn't making diss tracks, but investigators showed she knew exactly who was involved in the feud, and they explained how ATK and 1200 had already tried to get at Foolio several times. One of the shooters, Sean Gathright, was connected not just to the final attack in Tampa, but also to a past incident where Foolio got hit in the foot. Another situation happened in Houston, where ATK almost caught him again, and prosecutors even brought up Fast Money Goon's lyrics where he rapped, "I was lurking on his page, and I caught him lacking in Houston. We let off shots, he got shot and went live. I was tweaking, like man, that dude ain't die." Then prosecutors played Julio's own music videos where he dissed ATK and 1200's fallen members, dropping lines like, "Went out to eat on his birthday, folks shot, 3 dead in the worst way," and "He kept dissing on me, now he's smoking 23. They even used Young and Ace's lyrics from Game Over to argue that ATK and 1200 were behind the hit, since the track dropped right after Julio died. Ace had lines like, "Once 23 died inside my eyes, I lost my mind. 5.56 increased the murder rate. Another body on the way. Mask on, get up close. This is another closed case. Don Julio, shots to the face. 5 in the morning, I got a call. That on arrival, Mr. 6.
We're aware that Aaliyah was with Charles Jones when he was shot and killed?
Yeah.
All right. And that was despite the fact that Aaliyah dated someone that Charles Jones rapped about killing.
Okay.
You aware of that?
Yeah.
Alicia's defense kept trying to argue that just knowing the people involved didn't make her guilty, but she showed up all over security footage trailing Foolio the night he was killed. Her team claimed she didn't know what her boyfriend or his people were planning, but things got worse when it came out that Alicia had been DMing other 8TK members on Instagram.
Was there evidence in Miss Andrews' phone of her communications with ATK Keese and direct messaging in the Instagram?
Yes, ma'am.
Was there screenshots of those communications between this defendant and ATK Keese in that device?
Yes, ma'am.
She was even in touch with one of Julio's former associates, K Shorty, which made it obvious she wasn't clueless. She was tapped into everything happening on the streets. By this point, it was getting real clear in court that Alicia was in serious trouble, so her defense tried a whole new angle. They tried blaming another woman who happened to be at the hotel the night Julio died. The witness was Aaliyah, the same Aaliyah who used to date Young and Ace's brother Trevon back in the day. Alicia's lawyers asked the detective if they ever investigated Aaliyah too, claiming she also had a motive to go after Julio. That move fell apart instantly, and the next set of evidence against Alicia was even wilder. When detectives searched her phone, they found photos taken right outside one of the clubs Foolio visited the night he was killed. Sean Gathright's phone was filled with evidence too. Rashad Murphy, another one of the shooters, grabbed Sean's phone after the attack and sent a message saying, "I'm coming home, my thirst is quenched. I love you, Murphy." That message hit the courtroom hard, and it made the whole crew look even more involved. Meanwhile, Alicia and the whole group were getting exposed piece by piece, and she kept sitting there smiling and laughing while detectives explained exactly how she helped track Foolio down.
If you think your boyfriend loves you, your boyfriend used you in this. He knew. He's smart on these things.
Investigators said Alicia was riding around Tampa with Isaiah Chance, following Foolio everywhere he went, and she was sending her live location straight to the car full of shooters so they'd know exactly when to pull up. Just minutes before the shooters arrived at the hotel and killed Foolio, Alicia sent out another live location ping, and that's how the crew knew exactly where he was sitting. Sean Gathright was also working another setup that same night. He was trying to use a woman he knew to figure out where Foolio's Airbnb was located. Those text messages showed the shooters weren't just waiting around, they were actively hunting Foolio down. During the trial, prosecutors played Alicia's first police interview, and when detectives showed her proof she was at the hotel the night Julio was killed, she tried to brush it off with a laugh.
You were at the hotel where Foolio was murdered at the exact same time that he was murdered. Okay? Sweetie, the reason we're showing...
They laid everything out. Her phone data, footage of her trailing Foolio around Tampa, and details about Isaiah Chance's issues with Foolio and 6 Block. But Alicia kept acting like she had no clue what was going on. It came off like she was trying to protect Isaiah because they were together at the time. What made the whole situation even more intense was the fact that Alicia was pregnant with Isaiah's child while she was riding around during the setup to find Foolio. Detectives told her straight up that Isaiah was using her, trying to open her eyes to the danger she was stepping into. One detective even warned her that if she didn't cooperate, she could be facing a life sentence, but she refused to give up any information on Isaiah or any of the shooters.
I can tell you right now, with the statement you're giving us, you're going to be in prison, and you're never going to come out of it. You're never going to see the outside of prison.
Throughout the police interview, she kept lying about things investigators already had receipts for. But in court, everything got exposed one by one. When Alicia finally took the stand, she shifted her story a bit and admitted that Isaiah had put hands on her. The jury was shown photos of Alicia with bruises on her face from the abuse, and she testified that Isaiah had been using her phone during the night Foolio was attacked. Alicia claimed she allowed him to use it because she was scared of what he might do if she said no. Isaiah Chance clearly abused Alicia, but the court made it clear that his actions toward her were a separate issue from everything that happened the night Foolio was killed. From the very beginning, it was obvious Alicia knew exactly why everyone was making that trip to Tampa. She wasn't clueless. She was part of the movement that night. She was staring down a life sentence if the jury hit her with a murder conviction, but she ended up catching a major break. Instead of going down for murder, the jury found her guilty of manslaughter and cleared her of conspiracy to commit murder. Even though she avoided a life sentence, Alicia could still be looking at decades behind bars. After the verdict, Julio's mom said she was preparing an impact statement for the judge, and she wants Alicia to get 15 years plus another 10 added on top of that.
Give her the max. I'm writing my impact statement here to give her the max.
15 years is the max for manslaughter in Florida, but the judge can stack additional time if they think the situation calls for it, and Julio's mom clearly wants the harshest sentence possible. Alicia might think she dodged the worst outcome, but the spotlight is now shifting to Isaiah Chance and the shooters accused of killing Julio. Their trials are set for 2026, and nobody knows what kind of evidence the state is saving for them. This case is still far from over, and more twists are definitely coming. If you're locked into the story, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment so you don't miss what comes next.